Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a shocking development where reports claim that around 300 Belarusian soldiers have attacked Russian positions in a move that could reshape the balance of power in the ongoing war. This unexpected turn has left analysts scrambling to understand whether these troops are official Belarusian forces, rebel defectors, or volunteer fighters opposing Russia. As the situation unfolds, questions about Belarus's true stance and loyalty have taken center stage, considering that Belarus has long been one of Russia's closest allies. It's difficult to imagine its soldiers turning their weapons on Russian units, yet some reports describe this group as part of a Belarusian corps, possibly made up of volunteers fighting alongside Ukraine in a symbolic strike meant to send a message of resistance. This raises deep questions about unity, trust, and the crumbling alliances within Moscow's circle of influence. According to multiple battlefield updates, the clash allegedly took place near areas where Russian defenses have been stretched thin by constant Ukrainian pressure. Analysts say these Belarusian troops or volunteers conducted a swift tactical raid, exploiting weaknesses in Russian lines before retreating after inflicting damage to supplies and morale. If verified, this would represent one of the most dramatic acts of defiance against Russia by a state long considered loyal to Putin. But not all sources agree. Some suggest the phrase Belarusian soldiers is misleading, that these are not government troops but members of the Kastas-Kalinowski Regiment, a Belarusian volunteer unit that has fought for Ukraine since 2022. This group has declared its goal as freeing Belarus from Russian control and overthrowing the pro-Moscow Lukashenko regime. If that's true, the event becomes less about Belarus turning on Russia and more about Belarusians fighting for independence against both authoritarian states. Still, for Russia, the optics are disastrous. It means even citizens from its allied nation are joining the opposite side. That undermines morale and weakens the narrative of unity around Moscow's cause. It also signals that anti-Kremlin resistance is spreading beyond Ukraine into neighboring states. The story first emerged from smaller independent outlets, suggesting that 300 Belarusian troops joined coordinated strikes alongside Ukrainian forces in the Kupiansk region, which has seen heavy combat in recent months. Although the number may be symbolic, the claim itself fits a growing pattern of foreign volunteer involvement, including Georgians, Chechens, and now Belarusians operating on Ukraine's side. Analysts caution, however, that verification remains limited, with no official confirmation from Kiev, Minsk, or Moscow. Still, the possibility alone rattles regional stability. Imagine if Belarusian fighters are indeed striking Russian targets. How would Russia respond? Would it pressure Lukashenko to launch a crackdown or even send Russian units into Belarus to restore control that could ignite unrest across the country, since many Belarusians already resent their government's alliance with Moscow? Experts suggest that these developments might accelerate internal resistance movements, turning Belarus from a silent partner into a potential second front in the war. Militarily, such volunteer operations show how flexible and decentralized modern warfare has become. Rather than traditional armies clashing in fixed lines, we're now seeing small, agile units executing raids, sabotage, and infiltration. This keeps larger forces off balance and forces them to defend wider areas, spreading them thinner. It also demonstrates the motivational gap between ideologically driven volunteers and conscripted troops. Many Russian units have been described as exhausted, demoralized, and suffering supply shortages, so an unexpected strike by motivated Belarusian fighters could have an outsized psychological impact, especially if footage of the event circulates online. Politically, the symbolism is massive for Ukraine. It shows that its fight for sovereignty is inspiring allies even from within Russia's closest partners for the Belarusian opposition. It's a rallying cry, proof that Belarusians are willing to fight for freedom, not only at home but abroad for Russia. It's a sign of fractures spreading in what once looked like a stable bloc. And for the West, it reinforces the argument that Russia's aggression is isolating it further every day, even inside its supposed sphere of influence. What makes this story so powerful is its uncertainty. The fog of war makes it hard to tell where propaganda ends and truth begins. One side may inflate numbers or redefine who these soldiers are, while the other may downplay or deny the entire event. Yet even rumors can have real consequences. When trust and perception drive policy, Russia might respond as if the attack were real, increasing pressure on Belarus, while Belarus may tighten its grip on dissent, fearing similar moves inside its Borders in the bigger picture, this fits a clear pattern. Since 2023, Belarusian volunteers have become more organized, better equipped, and more visible. They've appeared in several Frontline videos bearing Belarusian flags alongside Ukrainian insignia, calling themselves liberators of both Ukraine and Belarus. Their stated goal is not only defeating Russia, but ensuring a future democratic Belarus free from external control. This adds a moral and ideological dimension that Moscow cannot easily suppress. If we zoom out further, the alleged 300-man attack highlights how the war's borders are blurring. It's no longer confined to one country, but has become a regional struggle over identity, independence and power. Russia's invasion has awakened historic grievances from its neighbors, each now seeing an opportunity to redefine their place in Eastern Europe. While the Kremlin portrays itself as a protector of stability, its actions have instead ignited chaos and rebellion. The Belarusian fighters' involvement, however small, illustrates that shift. As of now, official statements from Russia have been vague, focusing on sabotage groups. Rather than naming Belarusians directly, Minsk has remained silent, perhaps unwilling to admit that its own people are fighting on the other side, or fearing domestic backlash. If citizens realize that hundreds of Belarusians are taking up arms for Ukraine, the Ukrainian side has highlighted the courage of allied volunteer units, but has not confirmed specific operations, which keeps the ambiguity alive. Such ambiguity itself serves strategic purpose, allowing the story to circulate without forcing any government into official confrontation. If we consider possible scenarios going forward, several outcomes emerge. First, the Belarusian core could continue small-scale raids and intelligence operations against Russian assets, keeping pressure on the northern and eastern fronts. Second, Russia might retaliate inside Belarus, targeting rebel networks or pressuring Lukashenko to join the war directly. Third, this could become a rallying point for Belarusian opposition groups, who may see these fighters as heroes paving the way for eventual liberation. If Belarus's government ever loses Moscow's full backing, its grip could crumble fast, making this one of the most unpredictable flashpoints in Europe. Every conflict has a moment that shows alliances are not as solid as they seem, and this might be one of them. Whether the number is truly 300 or not, the symbolism of Belarusians striking Russian targets is profound. It shatters the illusion of complete unity in Russia's coalition and reveals cracks that could widen with time. For Russia, it's a nightmare scenario, fighting not only Ukraine but also elements from a state it once counted as a loyal ally for Ukraine. It's an encouraging sign that resistance is contagious, spreading across borders and inspiring others to stand up for sovereignty and freedom. Still, we must remember the human side. Each of these Belarusian volunteers risks not only their lives but also permanent exile from their homeland. If captured, they face harsh punishment from both Russia and the Belarusian government. Their actions, therefore, are born of conviction, not politics. They fight not for pay but for principle, and in modern warfare, that conviction can be more powerful than heavy weapons in the end. Whether this was a major coordinated assault or a limited raid, the meaning remains the same. Belarusian fighters have made their presence felt on the battlefield. Their message is clear: they will not stand with tyranny. The events remind us that the war in Ukraine is not just a territorial dispute, but a moral struggle over the future of Eastern Europe. Nations long caught in Moscow's shadow are now finding their voice, and in some cases their courage on the battlefield. This may be only the beginning of a larger movement that could reshape the map of post-Soviet alliances forever. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, share and subscribe for more updates and analysis on unfolding global conflicts. And tell us in the comments what you think about the Belarusian core and its potential impact on Russia's war effort.